It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. If you have not become a patron of the Geocache Talk Network, what are you waiting for? Patron levels start as low as a Bison Tube level at $3 a month. To sign up is easy. Simply go to the Geocache Talk website and click on the Become a Patron button, or go to patreon.com/Geocache Talk. Patrons now get the famous Blackout coin, invites to special events, and other really great items throughout the year. Become a patron today. Have you subscribed to FTF Magazine yet? FTF Magazine is the #1 geocaching magazine available. It is a quarterly magazine that you can be part of. Submit your geocaching milestones and adventures to be published. FTF Magazine is also interactive with puzzles to solve and the hunt to find Spartacus. If you can solve the puzzle or find Spartacus, then you will be entered in to win a special pack tag. Every new subscription, you will receive a special swag pack. Subscribing is easy. Just visit FTF's website, ftfgeo.com. Don't miss out and subscribe today.
Logwork, the creators of the fantastic logbooks made with genuine Write in the Rain paper. The logbooks designed for the micro containers of the present and future, geared towards the hider who'd rather go caching than doing cache maintenance. Find them at logwork.com. That's LOGWERK.com.
Thanks to Derek, Baker 6 Clan, for the graphics, and our new patrons. No new patrons. Okay. Let's celebrate our letter T's tonight. So if everybody has any coffee tonight, we're doing tea. So we've got Tennessee and Texas folks. So I'll start with Mike. He is in Tennessee. Anthony also in Tennessee. Derek behind the cache. He is in, obviously, Memphis area. And Scott, Jamestown, Tennessee, shout out. And, of course, Super Nate, he's in Appleton, Tennessee. So thanks to those folks in Tennessee. Texas, we have quite a few in Texas, so I will get through them fairly quickly. Juanita, fairly new patron. Harry, is in another Texas. Deborah, Yvonne, she's in Magnolia, Texas. Teresa, Tax Pro, RGV, they're down in McAllen. They're down along the border with Mexico. Skippy Teddy 83, Tracy, Gates, the Gates family. Thank you so much. Atreides. That's Marcellus. Zippertiff, Laura, Julia. We all know Julia. She's in San Antonio. ACDC family. John, D and David, Team D&D. Thank you so much. Ravenclaw Tia. She's a sweetheart. Jeff. And, of course, Tom. Tom's been with us for pretty much all of the 7 years of Geocache Talk. So thank you so much. Thank you to all our patrons for making this run, making this wonderful show continue. Without y'all, we can't pay for anything. So we appreciate y'all so much. So, all right, let me welcome in my co-hosts. There they are. Hello.
We're here.
John and Jesse. So sort of a programming note, we are going to be doing the 7th anniversary show in June. I got to make sure and confirm the exact date we want to do that. But yeah, we're coming up on our 8th anniversary. We're in our 7th year.
Flies.
Our 8th year. We're in our 8th year. So 8th anniversary. Yeah, 8 years, 2016 to 2024. We're also coming up on our 700th show, so that's
a lot.
a pretty good milestone. So
We've had at least 600 good ones too.
yeah, that's good. It's good
Pretty
batting
considering,
average.
too.
That batting average will get you in the Hall of Fame for sure. You know,
Well,
yeah, sure.
definitely.
no doubt.
I think we are in the Hall of Fame. Oh, that's for another show.
Hmm.
All right, let's do some news. We have a lot of news, so please be patient with us as we go through it all. We will get to the topic of the travel bugs. In fact, I don't know, Jesse, if it's in front of you, what's left of the travel bug. I don't know if you want to go, whether it's worth getting or you can just talk about.
It's in my Jeep. It's in my travel bug, which I'll explain later. But it's in my travel bug container in my Jeep.
Okay,
so
we'll
we
talk
can talk about that tracker if you want to talk about that, or you want to wait till the show to do it.
No, we'll wait for the show.
Okay, yeah.
And I can show you a picture of what it should have been when it got to you, but again, that's for the show. All right.
It roughly looks like. I got another example of what it looks like, but
it's
not.
It looks like it's just a tag now.
Just a tag at this point, so that's okay.
That just sucks. All right, we'll talk about that later.
We'll get into that though. That's the main topic.
Yeah, main topic. All right, so a couple things are coming out about Cache Fest that I wanted to get to for Cache Fest Oklahoma. The sign up for volunteers, as many of you know, and some of you maybe don't know, but may need to know about or can know about. Megas only work because volunteers help, because we can't do it ourselves. I mean, we just can't. I mean, we put in all the time we can, but we need volunteers to help. And there's going to be some signups that'll be coming out tonight after the show. Signups for all sorts of different locations. You know, you can kind of pick, like if you like a certain thing, like, hey, I'm going to be at the Night at the Noble on Friday to watch the crazy people who come to life, and we do an interactive adventure lab. John's going to be a cowboy, so.
Oh, no. I picked my role based upon what character and role would be the most inclined to have pizza.
Oh,
it was not a cowboy.
Not a cowboy?
It was somebody who was native to Italy.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. Nice. So anyway, but if you want to volunteer, there's a couple slots for that. You get the idea. If you want to volunteer, like I'm not going to be there in time for all that, but I'll be at the main event. You can volunteer for the main event. You can volunteer for that. So there's a lot of slots open. We need a lot of volunteers. We really need your help. Please sign up and help us out.
And you should say too that volunteering it's not going to be anything difficult, right? It's short shifts always. It's nothing that's going to put you outside your comfort zone. And if you've never volunteered at a mega before, it'll give you a different appreciation for the mega. You see all the behind the scenes stuff. And I would also say that you're going to enjoy it a lot. You'll enjoy. You're of course rewarded somehow, but we're not going to talk about that. But
yeah, we reward.
But it's rewarding also to volunteer and to help see the other side of it, and you get like a behind the scenes look at the mega, and it's kind of fun. It opens your eyes quite a bit if you've never done it, and if you have done it before, it makes things run better. The more volunteers you have, the quicker it runs. It goes good for everybody, and you can never have too many volunteers. I mean, I guess technically you could, but you can never really have too many volunteers, and it just makes the experience so much better for everybody, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to volunteer and do stuff. We've helped out at many megas, officially and unofficially, and it makes you really get more out of the mega, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. We have basically two types of signups. We've got the basically different slots during the week that you can sign up for, but we have a very unique volunteer sign up that we have slots for, which is on Friday. So I want to talk a little bit about Friday. we are going to have signups. I also have the official sign up, not just for the volunteers, but for everyone who wants to go through Infernal Device. Now, people are going to think this is crazy, I think, a little bit, but what? There's a sign up to go through a geocache? What are you talking about? And what do you mean go through it? What do you mean go through a geocache? So it's kind of escape room like, sort of, even though you're doing a reverse escape room. You're coming in from the outside. You're trying to get to the middle, trying to get to the inside to find the cache. And it's an experience. We really need to do it. It's, as I've said before, I think I've said before, or maybe I haven't, but it's the greatest geocache I've ever done. Of all the caches I've ever done in the past, since 2006.
That's awesome.
This is the geocache of all time.
I'm excited for it.
Have you ever done one like it, even comparable in any sense, Gary?
No, there's not. Professional escape rooms is kind of all I can think of as and this is a geocache. This is just this is in a guy's shed, on his property.
Yeah, it's his own property. Yeah,
it's at his
kind
house.
of think too, though. I mean, as awesome as this thing is, and Oklahoma's never had a mega before. So if anybody's familiar with megas and old caches or special caches around a mega, think about Beaver Cache. They have to shut that one down every year during the mega because it's in a neighborhood. So you can't have 1,000 people tromping into a neighborhood, right? You can't have 1,000 people all at one time showing up on this dude's property. If we didn't set up a schedule with the guy and work it out, because he wants everybody to go through it. But you can't have 600-700 people showing up in a neighborhood in dude's private property all at one time. So if we didn't do it this way, he would have to shut that thing down for a week. Because you couldn't control the flow of it.
No.
And it would be ridiculous. It'd be like a stampede.
Can you imagine missing that? Like if you came all the way to Oklahoma with one of the most epic caches out there and you just couldn't do it.
Oh,
that would be horrible.
Yeah.
Let me give you some more of the details. This just giving you the details should tell you right away that you got to sign up for this thing. Number one, you have to sign up. So that's number one. But here are the notes. Yeah, it tells you that. Here are the notes on Infernal Device, which is, in case you're wondering, it's sort of southeast of Oklahoma City proper. So it's kind of north of Norman, southeast of, it's just on the outskirts of Oklahoma City. So it's all in the area. So it's not like you're going to be driving clear out to, West Oklahoma or something. So here are the notes that were provided for this. We can accommodate a maximum of 5 people to go through at one time. Each slot allows 45 minutes to complete the activity. Please do not arrive more than 15 minutes before your time slot due to minimal parking. It's at some dude's house, so let's not cause a traffic jam. If you can ride with others, that would be fantastic. Remember, it's going to be hot, so try to stay hydrated. So that's the key, is that it is K-Blast. He just
no spoilers. Yeah,
no spoilers. He's like, no spoilers. No, I'm not giving any spoilers.
So you can answer this though. Is it a cache that can be taken out? No. You cannot take. No, it's not. We're not going to say anything. We're not going to spoil anything about the cache, but the answer to that one is no.
No, it'd be like picking up an escape room from some building.
It'd be like moving a building.
Yeah.
Now, Gary, can we announce the GC code for this one? I mean,
I guess we could put the GC code.
Just because for some people, some people not realizing how epic of a cache this is.
We can put it in the notes too as well. I mean, it's been around for a while, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's gone through. This is a 2.0. But yeah, no, it's you have to go to the site and you have to go through. No, I'm not going to do it, Brian.
No, we're not going to give you the details of the cache. We've
no
talked about it before
details
on here, but we're not tonight.
I don't think we can try to install any AC. So you're just going to have to tough it out, folks.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. And
which reminds me, we are going to need volunteers for it's called Infernal Device. Mm-hmm. It's PG, I guess, as far as the horror movie horror part of it. So maybe young
kids, not little bitty kids.
No, it's probably not the. I think teenagers would not be freaked out about it. I think young kids might be a little too young. If you kind of move them along, I don't think there's some great things about it. Oh, Julia's putting. Let's see what Julia says. Plus, it's a geocache, so it can't be moved. Way I would change the cords. Yeah,
that would cause a problem.
But we have permission. We went through a process. Got permission from the cache owner. He wanted these time frames. So this is really the cache owner's request that to give people plenty of time to get through the experience as much as possible. Volunteers will be there to help. If you get stuck, I'm not sure the amount, so I'm not going to give you exacts. I'm going to do a quick guess in the fact that they might give you a nudge or a hint.
Right.
Because if you're running out of time and you haven't found the geocache, you kind of want to help people along who are there.
They don't want to miss it.
Yeah, they don't want to. Yeah. So, and it takes a little bit to reset. So they're going to reset all that and be ready for the next group. So again, the sign up for that will be coming out tonight. The sign up for volunteers, if you're tough. Let's see, what did Julie put in her note? She said, volunteers for this location must be able to tolerate extreme heat. Standing and lifting will be required. We will have cold water and cooling towels available. But if you have any intolerance to the heat or cannot stand and or lift, please do not volunteer for these positions. So
that one's a little tougher than the normal.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's not like volunteering to work inside Embassy Suites, the conference center. So there you go. Yeah, there you go. Y'all not quite, but that's not going to be that for Brian. Get off my property. Get off my lawn. No, it's going to be great. So there you go. Stay tuned. It'll be on the cache page. It'll be on the web page, cachefest.com soon. Mm-hmm. So both the cache page and the web page will have the signups that you can participate in. So please sign up to volunteer. Sign up for a period of time that week for and 45 minutes is to me is more than adequate. I was sort of lobbying for a shorter amount of time, but the cache owner owns it, so it's up to him.
That's right. It's his deal.
It's his deal. He goes, I want people to have 45 minutes. I'm like, you're the man. So, that's right. So thank you to them. Thank you to their family for letting us.
I am very excited about that.
Invade. Oh,
you've been, but we haven't. You haven't been either, right, John?
No. I've heard some, and I'm man.
What I've heard, like he needs to be selling T-shirts that week or something, because I survived Infernal Device.
To give you an idea,
like it could be somebody's like top 10 caching experiences, that they've ever had.
Yeah, go read the cache page, and just all it's like reading a several paragraphs people give about it. But to tell you how great I think it is, I've been through it twice. The second time I went through it, I didn't say a word, and I did not spill anything. I just went through.
I don't even believe that.
I know it's hard to believe, but that is really what happened.
True.
It happened.
We're gonna get fact checked.
Yeah, you can fact check. I was with D and David, and I think David was spoiling more than I was, but okay. It's amazing. We'll talk more when we get a little closer to. But all right. Also want to mention the Gadget Academy. So all the packages are shut down now.
Right.
We had our final tallies with our production of the coins. We got that in process. A couple things are still available. You can buy a gadget still for the Gadget Academy that they're going to go through and build with you. So they're going to do it with you. That's part of our
fun. Yeah.
part of Gadget Academy. It's one of our unique things that really isn't done in any other mega. So that's still available. The Host Hotel group price ends on June 4th. I know it kind of confused one person because they thought they saw that and they go, "Oh, you got the wrong date. The you wanted July 4th." Like, no. June 4th, the last day we can do for the group pricing.
So reserving a room, for booking a room.
Yeah.
Booking a room at a group price, you might be able to get it later at a more retail price, but if you want the group discounted price, that ends on June 4th.
Can we say how much that is on air, or?
Yeah, I can go find it. Well, I'll look for it, and while you explain about
later, I know it's several places, but
yeah, go ahead and tell folks about what happened on Tuesday. Y'all talked about the Challenge Academy, or yeah.
So Tuesday, for anybody that saw it, you already kind of know what we're talking about. For the ones that didn't, you mentioned Gadget Academy earlier. Well, Challenge Academy is going to be an interesting thing that, like we always do. It's either going to work out awesome or it'll be interesting. So we'll find out what's going to happen, because
and John, you can pull that up too if you want.
I've got it. I'll pull up the picture in a second.
Okay,
the two hosts of the Challenge Academy are going to be Satellite. I'm going to be there hosting MC. We'll have the crowd live, and we're going to be doing a live broadcast Challenge Talk. This Challenge Talk Academy is going to be like an episode of Challenge Talk, but with a live studio audience, and we're going to be doing a lot of things, Challenge Wheel, everything else. So for people that are familiar with the Challenge Wheel, it's still going to happen, just like on the show. You're going to get spin for prizes. The interesting thing about that is, just like in previous years, there are challenges to do before you get there. So that's what people get really excited about at this point, because they have time left. So it started on May 15th. So between May 15th and the time of the mega, there is a map, which I'll pull up here. For the audio people, you'll just have to go and look at the notes, or look at Challenge Academy, or look at Instagram or any of the Facebook feeds that's got the map on it. So for those that can see, there's a map. It's kind of small. I don't think we can zoom in on that on this platform, but there's 4 different tracks. Photo scavenger hunt, which is photos you take, post to Instagram. The information's on there. Each one of these counts for points. Every one of these tracks. There's a power caching option, which it goes from 5 finds a day all the way up to 600 DT stars and 100 finds in 2 months. So 100 finds for 1 month, 100 finds for next month. That is actually pretty hard if you're not a power cacher.
Yeah.
So that one's. So the idea behind this, as we move through it, you'll see. Some of them will sound super easy to you. Some of them will sound like, I'm not going to do that. But that's the idea. There's a little bit of something for everybody on this. Another track on there is the well-rounded cacher. Now, this is something that we talk about on Geocache Talk a lot. It's encouraging people to find caches of all different types. So it starts off with just 2 different cache types in a day, and it goes all the way up to, it looks like 5 cache types in a day, 5 in a county, 8 cache types. Ones below and above, 3.0 and 3.5. So it's a good, well-rounded, different types, different DTs on that track. Each one of those is worth points separately. Each one of those gets you up to different levels. And for the exact details of all those, go back, check Challenge Talk from Tuesday, and they break it down every single points level. The 4th track is the Jasmer Junkie. This is very appropriate right now. And kind of led to a little competition between Emily and I, because she's shooting for her triple Jasmer right now, and so am I. We're trying to make big progress this summer. So if you look at the Jasmer Junkie track, it's a lot about year 2000 caches, or mini Jasmers, or 2-year mini. It goes all the way up to a 2-year mini Jasmer, which is really a 3-year mini Jasmer, and you have to get 1 from each month. That's hard for many people, right? So.
I'm going to share too, Jesse, while you're talking. I've got let me switch over.
Yeah,
I've got
the points breakdown.
Yeah, pull that down. I can bring it up a little bigger. So go ahead, keep going. I'll.
So the big thing about this is to be completed up until the actual Challenge Academy, the mega event that day. These are things you can already be working on, and some people already are. We've seen on Instagram. Emily and I are competing. We have a bet in place. The whole Challenge Talk crew is betting. Well, we're all betting against each other. I'll put it that way. The two losers have to put out a tribute challenge to the winner.
Wow.
So cool. You got to publish a tribute challenge cache to the winner. So whoever wins. I really don't want to publish a tribute challenge cache to anybody else admitting that I lost the challenge. So I'm going to try hard on this. Unfortunately, and I know Merlin's good. He's working on his, he's getting his going. He's got a different schedule. Emily jumped right out of the gate and she's slamming it already.
Yeah. She's killing it, man.
However, I have done so as well. So I am jumping out and I'm going for it. I've got it planned out. I want to clear out that whole map. You don't have to, first of all, for people that are competing, and Emily and I, and all three of us are not eligible for any prizes, obviously.
Yeah.
We're just doing it for ego and fun and the bet. The ones that are competing, if you get on there anyway, there's prizes, and we can go over all I don't want to spend the whole time to do that because we got to get in our show, but there's prizes for each level. You do not have to black out that whole thing. It's not a fizzy. You don't have to do everything on there. Anything you're doing, you'll get some prize. There's some prizes for it. Obviously, you want to get the more you can. You get a better chance at spinning the wheel.
I see. Daryl's betting against you. He thinks
I'm blacking mine out. I've already got a plan, so y'all just.
I think Daryl's just giving you motivation. And Jesse, I love how you said this is a little competition.
A little,
because everything that I've seen so far is not a little competition amongst you guys.
Yeah.
No, I don't do little competition really. So I was almost late for the show tonight because we were out caching all day, and I hid and submitted my first of this competition challenge cache. So that was one of the published challenge cache is one of them. Actually, it said hide a challenge cache. So technically, I've already done that. It didn't say publish one, so I'm just going to.
That's right. I just said hide.
I'm reading the rules just like everybody else is, right? But the hardest part is because I'm not a power cacher is going to be the power caching.
Yeah.
But we do have Memorial Day coming up. Memorial Day weekend is coming up. So
that's right.
That's a good time.
I do have a trail near me. So I'm just throwing that out there. And then for me, the Jasmer one, the very end, I've already got my trip built.
Yeah.
So it's on for that one.
That's awesome.
I'm ready. I plan on blacking out the whole map.
That's awesome.
Cache Fest, which will be like 700 or 800 caches by the time we get there. But I don't care. Just so happens I'm a teacher. I got one more week and I'm off. So ha. We're gonna see what happens. I'm gonna try to get everything I can done. I want to black that whole map out. So,
that's good. No, that's good.
Having said that, nobody has to do that.
No.
If you're going to Challenge Academy, you get prizes for way less effort than that.
Yeah.
We're just kind of doing it one for the bet and to see if it can be done, because we know people will do it, right? But it's really built for. Oh, Judy
got hers. She got hers published. So.
Woo.
Yeah,
yes,
Judy is killing it too.
What? Pull that back up. I want to.
She's killing it.
Yeah.
AQRAR. Okay.
Yeah. Big shout out to Judy. The geocaching ninja's been killing it too on social media.
Oh nice. Yeah.
So I mean, keep up the great work. Keep on tagging, putting up the hashtag Challenge Academy. So cool to see everything that everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Luckily, we're not in competition with her. She's killing it, but we're just in competition with each other.
Yeah.
But she's eligible for prizes, and we're not. So that works out great.
Yeah. Yep. And Geocaching Ninja is too. Yep.
Even if nothing comes out of this, other than a bunch of people publish some new challenges, I feel like that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And everybody get to spin, everybody get to play and have points and get prizes and everything else. That part's obviously fun part too. But encouraging people to put out more challenge caches, which could be some people's first challenge cache to ever put out.
Yeah, it could be for sure.
You can beat that, but anyway, I could talk about our competition all night long. But anyway,
I'm glad
go out there. Pull that up. If you're going to Cache Fest, or even if you're not, pull it up and see what you can get done. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We've given us a new kind of challenge for us right now because we have a lot of big challenges we're working on, but those take months and years. This one we can go out and chip away at this weekend. So it's a lot of fun. And anytime you have a target like that, whether it's souvenirs or whatever else, it's so much fun to just jump out and have a new thing to go for.
That's perfect. and I'll put it in the chat room, and it'll obviously be in the show notes. So, John,
Oops!
take a couple
Did I
minutes
just
and
pull
give
up my
us.
progress? I didn't mean to do that. That was an accident. I totally didn't mean to do that.
Oh, that's
Oh, look at all those
you.
smileys on there.
Ooh.
Anyway, we can move on past that.
Look
Oh
at
man,
you.
yeah,
Gosh, growing your own beans.
man, we're gonna have to cut Jesse off. So much competition in there for sure. No
Oh
doubt.
no, Jesse just
But
spilled.
Don't worry,
shifting.
I'll report back every week until
Right.
Cache Fest.
Jesse, we're going to hear from you every day, man. You post, I think, every day on social media.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I'm going to, man. I'm trying. I'm trying to be better about that. I'm not good at it.
No,
I'm
you're
trying
doing
to be better. This competition has got me kind of fired up, so I love it.
Oh yeah. John, couple quick items. Then we got to get on the show.
Yeah, a couple other quick news items on here. Big thank you to everybody who submitted through the Google form for the Geocache Talk non-traditional hide contest. Yep. We've had some really cool ones. Shout out to K-Blast for his hide. We got a few others that are doing really, really killing it too. Like I think it's like 70 to over 70% favorite points so far. Ooh, so what we're asking people to do on this one is to encourage non-traditional hides, hide a new cache, put it in that form. Yep. Then at the end, the top three, and we're going to incorporate, the percentage of favorite points as well too. We're going to invite them on the show, talk about their caches, give them some sweet prizes. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you have up until May 31st, but we definitely encourage people to submit those early. We'll post the link on social media again, this cool little dinosaur. If you got your phone, you can snap this QR code on your phone and this will take you to the form too. But, Judy Vaughn, if you got your challenge cache, go ahead and submit it if you haven't already. That counts. You can use it on here, and it's a chance to even win more prizes. So talk about prizes and cool stuff. There's a whole bunch out there. Big thing we want to make sure people know too is May 22nd is Thank a Volunteer Day. So geocaching happens all because of volunteers on that side. People fulfilling things such as regional organizations, local reviewers, etc. So May 22nd is a way to let people know how much you appreciate them doing that. Because for some folks, they put in a ton of hours. They go through a ton of stuff because they love this game like you and I. So, please extend some love to them as well, too. And again, that's May 22nd.
Do you think it'd be a good idea for people to send a quick email to their local reviewer and just say thank you?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, you've got it. If you've ever published a cache or you've even found a cache in an area, you know who your reviewer is. It wouldn't take any time to just click on their name, send them an email and say, hey, thank you for what you do. And Judy submitted hers. So
awesome, Judy. Glad to hear it. This is not a push to say Geocache Talk or anything like that. I'm just saying, shoot a little email, 2 minutes. I guarantee you many reviewers, they've got to be on their wits end at some days, right? Just people arguing with them and complaining at them all the time. Yep. So any good email that doesn't want anything from them, they would probably be pretty happy to get that.
Yep.
Just
absolutely.
Click on their name, say, hey, just want to say thanks. Don't need anything from you at this time. Happy Volunteers Day or whatever it is.
Perfect.
Not a bad plan if you have the time and feel so inclined.
Perfect. All right. Let's talk trackables a little bit.
What, we got a topic tonight?
We have a topic. Yeah, we do.
Oh, we're just doing a news show.
No, yeah.
So much is going on, it's really cool with everything going on for sure.
Not a potpourri show, although we've done those before.
We have.
But pretty rarely. We always usually have a topic. So, all right. So this topic came about because let's see when I sent this thing. I released it September of 2022. And it is May of 2024. So
is it that long ago?
Yeah. If you want to mail something through Travel Bug, you don't want to do that because it takes taken 2 years. Basically, no. Well, 1 year and a half. Took a year and a half to get from Texas to Florida. So I put out a Travel Bug, and we'll talk about some generalities here in a moment. But what spurred on this discussion was I put a Trackable out, and the Trackable title here, in fact, I'll even pull it up, was that I wanted this Trackable to go to Jesse. And it was a little it's not a bobblehead, but it was kind of like a McDonaldland toy of the Winter Soldier. There's a picture of him down here. So Bucky from
Oh, that's what it looked like originally.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that here in a minute. But I sent it out with a goal of Bucky wants to go visit Memphis Mafia in warm, sunny Tampa, Florida. Well, generally Tampa, Florida area. Would you help him get there? And I attached the travel bug with the little dog tag travel bug with the little chain, and put him out. And of course, I made lots of mistakes in the process of doing that, which we'll talk about. So he wandered around. Let's see, how long did he wander around in some other state?
Look at his mileage too. See how far he went.
Yeah, his mileage. Let's see. What
the map right above the logs, at the very bottom where the logs are. Scroll down. There you go. You should see view map right there.
Oh, view map. Yeah, let's do that.
That'll show you everywhere he went and the mileage.
Yeah. There we go. So he kind of went toward Florida, ended up overseas.
And then over to Europe. Back. There you go. UK.
This seems like one of
the how many miles total did he go?
Shipping things.
What was his total?
All over the place. Should say
all over the place. I mean,
yeah. Maybe on the first page.
Might be on the first page, but yeah. So I mean, he was all over the U.S. too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was all the way in San Francisco and out in Vegas. He eventually settles in, and what's funny is I sent a note to Jesse and said, "Hey, the travel bug is kind of near you. Can you maybe go get it?" And he's like, "Yeah." It kind of hung out in the top part here for a while, and then somebody grabbed it and started I think to take it to Canada. I was like, no, please just leave it. I got it to Florida, and I was like, okay, let's
now,
keep it in Florida.
It got sort of near me. Gary called and says, "Hey, it's sort of near you." It was 3.5 hours away. It wasn't sort of near me.
Well, it's more near to you than where to go, Finland or wherever it went.
I know that Gary thinks that every other state is tiny compared to Texas, but Florida's a pretty big state.
Yeah, so it went all the way up to, man, that thing traveled a long way.
Look, it was in Stockholm,
Sweden.
How cool would it be if it was dipped into the Geocache?
Helsinki. It almost made it to Russia. I mean, this stop here, it was at the Lupentorni flag tower. I mean, this is the border with Russia, I think, with Finland and Russia.
Wild.
So.
There must have been a bad translation at some point that said "bring to Finland" instead of Florida.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So
as we talk about that for sure, right?
Yeah. So lots of mistakes. We'll get into those here in a minute, but yeah. So that's what he looked like.
Oh, go ahead. I won't. That's what he started
real quick. He started at. Now I don't know at what point he got detached and taken separately, whether it was on purpose or they just got separated and the tag kept going. The tag survived surprisingly and kept getting moved.
Yeah, the tag. Yeah, at the end it was just a tag. So when I finally got it, I called Gary and I was like, "What was this thing originally look like?" Because it was just a tag, no chain even. It wasn't even a chain, just a tag. Boom.
So
it was, yeah. Go ahead.
Somebody stole the little Bucky Barnes off of the Winter Soldier, plus the tag, plus everything but the tag. So
now, in fairness, here's what also could have happened.
Yeah,
those tags aren't. I mean, those little chains are not perfect. If it got separated, the chain got separated from the toy, and the toy and the tag were in there. A kid's going to come along, take the toy, not touch the tag. Yeah. Somebody will take the tag, or vice versa. You know, they'll take it.
Yeah.
it's easy for those things to get separated. You cannot guarantee that it's going to be in the same shape when once you see it again. But
yeah,
it
so
got handed to me as a tag. That was it.
which is crazy enough that the tag made it all the way there.
It
So
did.
I don't know. I have to go back through and try to figure out at what point. I don't know if there's any photos, but yeah. Who knows?
Now this is
But
killing me, Gary. I got to ask this. Is this your first trackable whose mission has been completed?
yeah. So of all my, let's see how many I've got out there that are trying to do something. Yeah, my first trackable that I put out was in, I don't know, probably 07, and it's still wandering around out there, maybe. But yeah, this is the first one that made it to somebody of all. Let's see how many. I've got 39 trackables out in the world, and only one has ever made the mission.
I've had a few that have made it. I put out a lot of trackables though.
Yeah, you have put out a lot. The craziest one that I want to mention that you got was the Michelin Man. So
yeah, that one was missing for a while.
Yeah, Geocaching HQ put out a trackable. They haven't done trackable
Promotion.
for a while.
It was a trackable promotion years ago with Michelin.
Trackable promotion that they put out, and you could sign up, and they would send you a little Michelin Man tire gauge checker.
Yeah, it was shaped like the Michelin Man, but it was a little tire gauge thing. Yeah,
with a little tire gauge on it.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And Jesse put one out, and we were at.
And I actually do what you're supposed to when you get the promotional trackables. I send them out.
You put it out.
When they're gone. Know when they're gone, but you agree to that.
Yes, you do.
You say, "I'll do it." Yes, send me one. I'll send it out.
Yeah.
People get them and they just leave them on their shelf. That's now. If I ever get them back, I get to keep them.
Yes.
And that one I got back, but what I do with it, I send it out again.
Put it back on.
I think it's cool, and it needs to go out again. So
keep on pushing your luck there, man.
The funny thing is, if the stars align correctly, you might end up with a story like this one, which was we were at the Texas GA Mega up in Denton, and a friend of mine had found, and he didn't tell me this, he had found that Michelin Man in some cache somewhere.
Yeah.
And he knew it was Memphis's, and he said, "Oh, I think he's coming to Denton for the TXGA Mega." So he ran into us at one of the side events, and he goes, "Jesse, here you go," and he hands you the
I hadn't seen it in a long time.
And oh my gosh, it was like, oh my god. So didn't make it to Colorado where you were living at the time. Made it to Texas, grabbed by somebody, brought to you and handed to you. That was pretty wild.
That's it's almost as good. That's not even my best trackable story though.
Okay.
So I have ones that just immediately went missing.
Yeah,
I have two that I'm down to one left of it now, but I sent two out a long time ago. I think it was like 13 or 14, a long time ago, right?
Right.
One of them is still active. So I put two of them out in a race. They've been racing, right? I just used like two ninjas, but I wrote a story on it that I think helped. We're not going to get, we don't have time to get all that, but I wrote a neat story that people have commented many times. Like the story is that one ninja is racing against the other ninja, right?
Right.
So there's two of them and they're racing all around the world and they've got like a crap ton of mileage on them. But people actually are reading enough to go, we've got to beat the other ninja because it was like it's the end of the world or something if they, whichever one gets their good and evil. So they'll at least read enough that they're going to put in there and like, hey, I'm helping this ninja save the world or whatever, or this is my ninja's going to win or whatever. Now, one of them has recently gone missing, but the other one is still out traveling around like 100,000 miles later. It's insane.
Right.
Which is still neat. And I get pictures from all over the world, but the coolest trackable story I've ever had. And so today, I found my own missing trackable.
Whoa.
Really?
So I was out doing a multi-cache. It was kind of hard in my area. It didn't get hit all the time.
That's crazy.
When I get there at the end, And I was like, oh, this is one of those cool. It's another promotional trackable, the James Michener, the gold nugget thing for the book.
Yep.
Of course, I sent it out because that's what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
I get there and I'm like, oh, there's one of those. I hadn't seen one in the wild yet. It was mine. It wasn't logged into the cache. And it was mine that had gone missing and somebody had moved it to this cache. And I didn't even know until I was like trying to log it to move it.
What are the odds? You know,
I found my own missing trackable. That's awesome.
Like who else does it happen to? You know?
Yeah. And now I probably could have gone back and found out who put it in there because not that many people find that cache.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm just happy to get it back.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault. They found it somewhere. It's probably lost in their car. Not that anybody would ever admit to doing that. You know, when they fall down, you forget that they're in their car and you find them later. And it's like, oh, take them to an event and get rid of that. I don't know how I got there.
Yeah, I want to talk about travel bug contests here in a second, but Mike mentions about having an easy way to scan travel bugs in the official app would do wonders.
Yeah.
I don't know if Goo has it or Geo has it. Cachely has it.
Yeah.
Where you can.
I think he's talking about the official app, though. I mean, that's
yeah, it's not in the official.
Do they
app.
not have it yet? It seems like they would.
They should. I think some of the other apps, I know Cachely does. I would assume Geo has it as well, but which is kind of cool. You can just
official
scan it.
app cost anything?
No.
Okay. It doesn't cost anything.
It doesn't cost anything.
I really think that they're trying to keep the official app as basic as possible.
A little bit, I think. Yeah.
They already know that there's third parties that are doing really advanced, but you got to remember, like, out of the big sphere of geocachers, people that are listening to this is like this small amount of people up here at the top.
No,
most of the world is like 200 finds and less, right? They don't need all these advanced things. So I think they're appealing to the bigger audience doing that because we talk about it a lot like this, the app doesn't have this or that. It makes sense though, right? If 98% of your cachers have found like 200 caches, that's who you need to appeal to. So
yeah,
it absolutely. And I mean, on that one too, I mean,
obviously they can. They work with Nick, right? He can do whatever. Yeah. So but they're choosing not to. So that's got to be the reason why.
Well, I think for them it's got to be tricky because it's like most new cachers probably aren't going to the website. They're probably just using their mobile app, you know. So I mean, if that isn't usable, if it's clunky or something,
yeah,
you could have people kind of check out from the game right away, you know.
Yeah.
So I get where they're coming from.
No, it makes sense. So it's not that I just didn't want it to sound like we're bagging on the geocaching app. There's a reason why it is how it is, right?
Yeah. Have you? Go ahead.
That was a good one that you brought up, though.
Oh yeah, about saying a thank you note. Yeah, VM Steege put. Yeah, that's cool.
And send a thank you note. That's great. You know, again, it's kind of appropriate to this, just like caching. If you have 800 caches out there or 500 trackables out there, you're not going to be able to put that level of personal detail into it. And there is kind of an oversaturation with that, a lot of that, right? Like you don't do maintenance on 800 caches. You probably don't thank people if you have 500 trackables out there either. You got to keep it kind of manageable.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been part of a travel bug race?
No.
Yeah, I've hosted ones.
Oh, you've hosted? Okay.
Yeah, I've hosted a couple of them.
We'll get to yours in a second.
Okay.
I'll tell you my quick story of I've been in a one back when Geo Gearheads was around. I was privileged enough to have one of the travel bugs provided to me in this race, designated and said, Daryl W4 said, "Hey, I want to put you in there with us." And it's like, "Oh, thanks so much." My travel bug went 12 miles maybe and died.
Did somebody put it in like a terrain 5, like a 5.5 like cache on that one, Gary?
I don't know.
That doesn't stop it. I have done that. I put one of mine in a 5.5 boating where I go cache.
Dang.
And it still got stolen.
Still got taken.
I'm like,
somebody had a mission just to like
5.5. It wasn't like a fake 5.5, Texas. It wasn't like a fake 5.5. It was in a 3-foot tree. It was like you had to boat to different locations and then move around. And it was the final cache was in the lake.
Yeah.
Still stolen. Immediately stolen.
That sucks.
And
Yeah,
it was another promotional trackable. It was the 10 cup whiskey one.
Oh yeah, I put my
man,
10
that
cup
is a
whiskey
cool one.
out too. Yeah,
The lesson is break the rules. Don't send out your promotional trackables. Right. That's the lesson for today.
probably. I don't know. Yeah, because we'll never see him again. But yeah, mine farted and fell down. So now, I was part of the Deadliest Cachers. Wanted to send. I was at the other end of it, and she put out a travel bug race, and she asked me if I had a cache that could accommodate these 20 travel bugs coming to this cache, and I was like, sure. You know how many came and made it to the end of the race?
Ooh.
0.
Oh, my gosh.
Not one trackable survived and
Ooh.
won the race. But anyway, you were part of. You hosted one, Jesse. Tell us
Yeah, I
about
hosted a couple of them.
Okay.
So here's what I'll say. This is a whole other show that we should probably get into, right? Travel bug races. People are still doing them.
Yeah.
One, I would say from what I learned, because, we don't do anything small. We have to blow everything up and do too much work every time, right?
Right.
So we went way overboard, had tons of categories. We're sending out a monthly newsletter. It was a year-long travel bug race.
Mm-hmm.
Way too long, by the way. Way too long. Because people lost interest, and we had prizes custom built for people, and some people didn't even show up at the end. They're like, I'm bored with that thing now. But anyway, if you're going to do a travel bug race, simplify it, make it super simple, and keep it short and interesting for people. Like have a final destination there, but they can be a lot of fun. However, I'm trying not to rain on anybody's parade. If there's a travel bug race, do it. It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
However, here's the way I'll say it. Just like with all trackables, a travel bug race, it's kind of like being a Cubs fan. Right. You have to know going out you're not winning the World Series, but you got to think there's hope.
You got to think
you're hope. Wait 108 years.
Yes.
You win.
You might win.
You have to know if you're doing a travel bug race or if you're sending out a trackable, it can be super fun. It can go places. It can do all these other stuff, or it can literally disappear before you get home. And you just have to know that that's part of the percentage of them that go missing. I don't even know. I think Signal's doing it. He's going around the world selling trackables so that they can sell more numbers.
That's a
conspiracy theory, but I'm just gonna float it now. I'm just saying.
Conspiracy.
Wow. Where does he go between megas?
That's true. Maybe he's going out and swiping.
He's got to be doing something, right?
Scooping up travel bugs, you're saying, along the way there?
That's what I'm saying.
Could be.
And
what if Signal's Cashmobile ran on trackables, and he had to get those trackables to get to the next
he eats
station.
them.
Oh, they're all in his, because he is pretty fat. So maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really big flies. They are bugs.
They are bugs.
Oh,
that's why they're bugs. Now we know.
Pollution. Yep.
Signal is eating them. That's how he keeps staying alive. Keeps all his magic, so he can get to all these events.
We solved it.
Because
if that's the case, I'm giving Signal even more trackables to do more awesome things. I'm okay with that now.
Hey, he's hitting megas all the time, but I've never seen him on a plane. The plane that I go to get the mega, he just magically appears.
Right.
I'm just saying he's eating trackable bugs.
Yep.
So, but that's stupid. All right, so travel races are really fun to do, but you have to go into them whether you're the host or whether you're a participant, knowing they're just like any other travel bugs, and probably 70% of your travel bugs are going to go missing.
Yep.
Before too long. But it's still worth it for that 30%.
It's fun.
It's worth it for the fun of it, right?
It's fun.
You can, for the ones that do work and reach their goal or just travel for a while. I mean, they cost $5 usually or something, what a tag does.
Yeah.
If you get 6 months out of enjoyment out of that, it doesn't matter if it goes away after 6 months. It's $5 and it's gone. And you can follow them on the map and see great pictures. Mm-hmm. And there's amazing trackables out there. One of my favorite ones I've ever learned about was I think we interviewed them 25 years ago on the show. And there's a log book that's going around. It's a journal, like a diary journal connected to a trackable, and you send it around. I had it at one point, and it you literally write a story in there and then move it on like it's a true log book.
I remember that. Yeah, that was full size many years ago. Yeah.
And then when you get it, you read through all these stories, and they're crazy. They're crazy stories in there. So it's like a whole book that you've never read as a trackable.
Well, and I got to put something out there because I mean, as much as we say travel bugs go missing, when you're not to discourage the new cachers, because I mean, it is such an amazing feeling when you release one of your first trackables or your first trackable, like go somewhere you've never been, like especially like overseas, to like Europe, to some cool locations onto that. Germany. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but like when I was the first part of a travel bug, then going overseas, and a lot of times, like if I move a travel bug, I'm watching it. I want to see where else it goes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
On that one, that is such a cool experience for sure. So I mean, if people are newer cachers, yeah, I agree. It's just you can't set the bar too high in your expectations, but I mean, there are some pretty cool things that'll happen for sure.
Absolutely. And Darwolf earlier said need to cover travel bug edit. We are going to get to that. We're going to go through a couple more anecdotal stories, but we will get into.
We're going to definitely run out of show. We're going to have to talk about travel bugs again, really soon.
Yeah, we have to do travel bugs again because
there's so much to talk about with travel bugs. Like
there is.
Owning, moving, there's so much.
There is a ton. I've had some I would consider successful. I never got them back, but they talked about the y'all remember the ducks. That was a really big promotional item, and I had one of my ducks. There was a duck race, seven deadly ducks, official race. Yep, Mike mentioned that. And so I had one, and I took it to an event, and again, we've all been there, and it's like, and a friend of mine who a local cacher came up and said, "Hey, I can take your travel bug. We're going to Greece." I said, take it to Greece, because why not, right?
Yeah,
why not? So she did. She dropped it off in a cache in Greece, and somehow went from Greece to Germany. And then, if y'all remember, I don't know if it's still the case today in the world we live in today, but in the old days, if your cache got to Germany, you might not get it back, but that darn thing's going to travel around the country. And that duck went to all over Germany, because the German geocachers are very good about picking up a travel bug and moving it. They're the best. They are by far 1,000 times better than U.S. cachers. I don't know about Canada or some other countries, but here in the U.S. we suck. We're the worst. We're like one of the worst as far as cache cache health, and travel bug health.
Travel bug health, yeah.
Travel bug health.
Yeah. Jesse and I found one we've talked about on the show before. He and I found one. It was just the same thing there. Nothing on it. No,
it wasn't even activated, was it?
It was activated. Yeah.
Oh, I found one time. Well, we've talked about this before, but I found one that's already out in the wild and was not activated.
Not activated.
Like, it wasn't the package as a prize. It was an older cache. It was not activated.
So that crazy. Wasn't an FTF prize, you're saying? Like how some people used to do.
No, it was not an FTF prize.
No.
Yeah. It was out. Yeah. It was wild.
Yeah. Mike's right. It is the Shangri-La of travel bugs. So,
Yep.
Okay. So, we do have a lot of stories. Let's go back to, while we still have a little bit of time, let's go through.
Already an hour. You know what? Let's just start. Let's get started.
Here we go. Next hour.
You know what though? This is how I find travel bug stories when you're at events. Is somebody talks about a travel bug story?
Oh, they're great.
It's like so many great unique stories that just like go on and go on. So
that is why we're even talking about trackables, right? So
absolutely,
knowing that they still go disappearing. No, then and we're talking about trackables that are sent out, not like the stuff that you just buy and keep, right? The ones that are actually sent out. But just the chance that you're going to get good stories is enough to make you, even if you've had all of them go missing, you're like, I want to send another one out.
Yeah.
It's on the chance that you're going to get some cool stories, and people put some, if you if you pay attention to your trackables, which again, if you send 200 out, it's kind of hard to do that.
Kind of hard to do.
I found that out. I went overboard on trackables just like everything else.
Yeah.
But if you send them out, you're going to sometimes get some really cool stories and some really cool pictures.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I've got pictures from places I may not ever get to visit.
Yes.
It's worth it just for those stories alone. You know, everybody's got a trackable story. So that's if everyone moved perfectly all the time, it probably wouldn't even be a story. You'd just be like, that's part of the game. It's kind of boring. But you can follow the maps of your trackables, and it's worth it. That's why we're having this discussion. Knowing that
absolutely.
I've activated 166. A lot of them are missing. And sent them out. You know, other than one on my leg, I sent a bunch out.
Yes.
Some of them are still going. Cool.
Yeah. Once in a while you'll get you'll see one. Most of mine have truly died, and it'll be for a different show. We can talk about travel bug resurrections. I've resurrected
just about to say that.
Yeah, you're about to say you can resurrect them.
And there's other uses for them as well.
Yeah.
So let me throw another show, but I've used them in different ways that have been really fun too. So
I've put them in. There's in my books, in the game, Cache Masters has a travel bug in it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah, hit them in the book.
Yeah, hit them in a card game.
That's a totally different show because I've got many stories about that.
Yeah,
about those. We
most
can't even
definitely. All right, so I'm going to throw out for you guys some steps to hopefully have a successful mission. You give me your thoughts, okay?
All right.
Number one, and this came up, Owen from KC mentioned it, and that is don't send the item. Put out a proxy of the item. Keep your item. Put out a proxy of it instead. What are y'all's thoughts?
Yes. So don't send a coin anywhere.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Don't send a super fancy they cannot be too fancy or somebody will want it. It has to be basically something of nominal value or less, like no value to anybody, right? Like you couldn't, and I think that's even part of the actual recommendations too. Like trackable should be, if it's attached to something, a tag should be of nominal value. But if it's worth anything or unique, somebody might keep it. So if you have something that's really cool, don't just slap a tag on it and think it's going to stay out there. It won't. Send out some neat item. If we're talking about dog tags, right? Like the normal. If we're talking about those tags, send out an item that's like a McDonald's toy, or although those aren't nominal anymore. I think I heard the other day that a Big Mac's, those Happy Meals like $20.
Yeah, they're getting expensive.
Yeah, so that's an expensive toy. But like, some kind of useless little toy that makes a story funny, but nobody's going to covet that thing. You cannot send out anything valuable. It's gone. Or unique. Not unique either.
Yeah.
And I agree with you on that one because, especially in caches, let's face it, caches get muggled,
Oh, sure.
People discover these things. So, if people don't even know what this is and they see something really cool in there, it may be a non-cacher just grabbing it and going with it, and it's never seen ever again on that side. Yeah. I 100% agree.
Here's one thing that I don't think you'll see very often, but and we have some good comments I want to get to too. But when we were at we did a geo tour of birthplace of Texas, and what they did was they gave you, obviously when you finish the tour you got a coin, but with the coin I got actually a proxy coin that I could send out. Never did because I thought it was kind of cool anyway, but they gave you, this is not the coin, this is a proxy of the coin. Isn't that cool? And it's metal, and it came with a little hole you could attach something to it, but it's like a replica.
I've got a few of those that I've sent out, and I kept the original coin at home.
Kept the original. The original behind me, but you rarely see this kind of thing anymore. I
think there was an issue with those. We'll have to research before we actually talk about it, but I think there was an issue with people selling proxies to go with coins.
Maybe
there's some kind of issue, but I don't want to. I can't remember exactly the details of it, so we'll talk about it in the future.
Yeah,
you don't see that much, and so I'm going to grab this one. Lostkin said, "I won't move a proxy," and I'm assuming what they're talking about too. So for me, and y'all have all seen this, when we're talking about proxies, we're talking about like that coin or something quality, right? If you're going to put a proxy to it, go get a dog tag and engrave it yourself, a pet tag or whatever.
Yeah.
Put something that's quality out there.
Yeah.
The ones that probably like Ken's talking about, you come to it and you'll see a little baggie and it'll be a piece of paper and it says proxy, and it's just like a printed piece of paper. I'm not moving that around.
No.
I'm not taking that out of that cache. That's annoying. But now I've had ones that have gone missing, and I've actually had, items with tags engraved and everything else to replace that. And not to get into the resurrection part of it, but you can a proxy that's quality. We're not saying put out a baggie with a piece of paper. That is terrible, and I would never move that. I'm not even touching that thing.
No,
I'm not putting that in somebody's cache and attaching my name to it.
You're right.
Yeah, something quality. Proxy needs to be at least as high quality as the original, or nobody's going to.
Cool.
It's not going to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next is make sure make sure you attach the mission to the trackable somehow.
How rare is this that you actually come across this?
Yeah, but
maybe 1 out of 25 that I come across actually has a printed trackable goal before you have to scan it.
Right.
And people are like, well, you can scan it and get in the goal. Not everywhere. A lot of areas don't have cell service. You know what I mean?
Who has time for all that?
And now you've hiked up a mountain, which has happened to me multiple times.
Yeah.
You've literally hiked up a mountain. There's no service there.
Right.
Trackable. Should I move it? I don't know.
I don't know
what the goal is.
Should I?
Get it back down, and the goal could be leave me at the top of a mountain.
Oh God!
Come on,
abandon the trackable.
Yeah. So now I'm the person that's busted the goal or whatever. But it's so rare. How many do y'all think out of 25? How many of them actually have the tag on it?
Yeah, and I got to say on this one, I mean it's not many. But I mean, I'll admit a trackable sin. We went to a travel bug hotel down in Florida.
I don't know that this is the night that we're gonna do that. We don't have no show for admitting all
Here
that.
we go.
No. I don't have too many. Maybe I just have this one. But on this one, we were at a hotel, travel bug hotel down in Florida.
Yep.
Popped it out, really cool one, right? We grabbed probably the coolest travel bug we saw. We didn't check its mission. We didn't check its purpose.
Just grabbed it.
Yeah. What was its mission? To go somewhere where it was warm and buy water, right? So we throw it in our bag,
and
you dragged it to
we
Buffalo.
Get on the plane, and when we get to Buffalo, Gary, where did it originate? Buffalo.
You basically ruined.
Oh my gosh!
But Jody saved us on this one. It ended up in Iceland, thanks to Jody. So Jody saved it.
Can you
but
say somewhere warm?
Well, yeah. And then from Iceland, it did go over to Europe and went to some other cool places.
Okay.
But yeah, man, when I came home back to Buffalo and I checked and I was like, I took it exactly away from where it should have been. And right basically to where it came from, I was like, oh man. But if there was a tag on there saying, okay, here's the deal, odds would have been better, that I probably wouldn't have done it. Just saying.
So, along those lines, hold on, I'm trying to put this one in here.
Go.
K-Blast, I quit putting goals because no one ever reads them. You know what? That's part of it.
Yep.
However, I'll tell you a story that's the opposite of that. And this is the problem with Trackables again is I got stories, right? But we all have stories. So we did a family race from HQ to another location. Right? We dropped them all when we visited. So each one of them, each person in our family had a different trackable. They're all set up together and linked together with stories saying we're racing each other. The first person to get to this wins out of a family. Yep. Well, it just so happens the first person that picked up one of our trackables took it all the way to like 50 miles from the location.
Oh.
All the way across the country, by the way, right? It was like
so close.
All the way to Tennessee, back, to Tennessee from Seattle.
Yes.
Our other ones are racing along. Well, the next person that picked that one up said, these goals are clearly on there. This seems like it's cheating. I'm going to set it back a little bit because it's so far ahead of the others in the race.
No.
And it took it back west and put it in a cache. It was like 5 more states back. He goes, I think this one got too lucky. It's not a fair race. And so he paid attention to the goal, but just decided to do the opposite.
It's not up to them.
We thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I sent the guy a message. I was like, dude, that was awesome. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Partially because it helped me win the race, but
Right.
even so, that is funny. Somebody interacted with it, and you just have to know it's going to be a 2 steps forward, 1 step back process.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yes.
2 steps forward, 5 steps back. It's not the point. You have to get not so tied up and invested in it being perfect. You have because in it, we've all gotten mad about it, but we're just gonna tonight's not the night for that, right? But you got to know with trackables again, it's up to the mercy of like the wind blowing. Literally, that's what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
And it may not ever reach its goal. Some people will never read the goal and pay attention, and some people will see the goal and do something totally funny and opposite of it just to be funny, right?
Just right.
Yep.
And they can. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no rules against it. There may be some etiquette against it, but there's no rules against it, And that's just. But at least give them the chance, the ones that want to do it right, and put the goal on it, like laminate a piece of paper, tie it to it, however you're doing. One of those rope chains, not chains, but the rope ones that
not the bead
those are way
chains.
better. The
Right,
connectors.
Yep.
And it's more likely to get taken to the right location if you have that goal on there.
Yeah.
It's actually just more likely just to get taken out of there because it looks like a complete trackable, and it's not something,
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple other ones, and we've got to wrap up tonight, but a couple other things to note. Be clear on the trackable page. Don't write a dissertation and then the cachers try to figure out, okay, I still don't know where this guy wants this cache to go. I mean, be clear. I don't need a story about, how Bucky Barnes is Winter Soldier and, that's an example. Securely attach it. We talked about that. Don't, use something that's going to be secure, even though you think it's secure. Like I used the bead chain, that didn't do any good. So,
no.
So, and I had a suggestion. I don't know what you guys think, but I did not want to put, and I don't know if this is a big deal or not, but I didn't want to put a secondary goal on the travel bug page because it never completed. Well, now it has. It never had completed its primary goal. And one thing that I don't know what happened to, or what the thinking was. So it's in Florida. It's close to Jesse. It's pretty, it traveled 4,000 miles to get there, all the way through Finland and back to Florida. It'd gotten that close. And then I noticed I got a log that somebody had picked it up. And when I looked at his log, he goes, headed back to Canada. And so I immediately emailed him or messaged him.
Yeah.
I said, please don't let that travel bug leave Florida.
In fairness, though, your goal is to want to go visit Memphis Mafia in Tampa. It was already in Tampa.
So
it kind of looked like the goal was completed.
Right.
And what do you want to do when you get a trackable? Take it as far as possible because most of the goals are just travel the world, right? You look at it.
The goals,
9 out of 10 times it says just travel the world. It's not a specific thing. So there's a lot of interpretation there on trackables.
Yeah. And once in a while you'll find and so it was a good soul. They didn't say anything, but they did drop it back in another cache in Florida. And of course, then somebody picked it up, which was cool. Was at this point, again, all's left is the dog tag. They sent me a message and said, we grabbed it. I think we're going to see Memphis at an event. And I said, perfect, please. Yeah. And so they took it and handed it to you at the event.
Yeah, they sure did. They handed it to me.
That's cool.
Yeah, they made sure. So that was cool, though. It completed its mission. Now, here's the question. What does it do now? Ooh. If I send it out in a cache now, anywhere close to me, somebody's just going to bring it back to me. So we got to change the mission of it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Do I change the goal? We should leave that as.
I'll leave that as a suggestion. If they have any other goal, it's the Winter Soldier. I'm going to Alaska. Unless I'm instructed otherwise, guess where the Winter Soldier is going?
Going to Alaska.
It's going to Alaska.
I like it. Drop it in Alaska. That's cool. And I'll put a new goal on it. I'm sure somebody will come up maybe with a question. So Paul, largest hitchhiker.
Oh yeah,
full-sized
Yeah, I've
whaling
seen
harpoon
I've
attached
seen
to the
some
wood.
crazy items with that.
That has got to be the largest. I've seen a bowling ball.
One that I got to bring up is
Go for it.
Trackable stories, and I can't remember. Wish I could remember who told me about this. The Trackable toilet on this
Yes,
one.
I've seen the whole, just the toilet seat or the whole thing.
The whole toilet.
I've
Oh
seen
my
the
God.
toilet seat and bowling ball and
Bowling pin.
many bowling pins, bowling ball,
Where you gonna put them?
anchor. I've seen anchor.
Yeah.
I
Well,
tell you where they end up. Jesse will tell you where they end up. They end up at Megas.
They end up dropped at somebody's events. That's what happens.
That's what happens.
That's where they go to die.
Well,
They end up at
that's where they go. On this one, though,
They
the
do.
Trackable toilet that somebody got, they got it from an event left over like that, and I can't remember who it was. Wish I could.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what they did is they knew a caching friend who had a wonderful front porch to drop it off for them.
Yep.
On that one. So when that cacher
man.
awoke and went outside, he found the Trackable toilet on his front porch.
No.
I love it. I love that
Yeah.
so much. There's so many things I want to talk about that story. I love every bit of that story. I love every side of that. That's awesome.
That is incredible.
Absolutely. Just talk about the joy and laughter that spread across so many people. That
Yeah.
Oh
experience.
yeah. I've
So-
seen crazies. Yep.
I know we're obviously going over, but it was
Go
in
ahead.
the comments and it was in our notes, and I kind of want to throw it out there tonight,
Sure.
just because I want us to come back to it. But I'd like to give it a try. I don't see any rules against it.
Okay.
So let's see. Let me pull the note up because it's in our notes, but it also
Okay.
yeah. So it was brought up in the chat too. I have an answer for all these problems. GPS tracking chips. So funny you say that, because actually in our notes we talked about this. What are y'all's thoughts on putting a track, like, because they're cheap now? You can get them for like $15, like an Apple tag or
Which is
a
crazy if they're cheap.
tile or one of those
Yeah.
other things that you can track with GPS now. What are your thoughts on putting out a trackable like that?
I love it. I love it because we had talked before, I think, about putting a trackable either on in a cache to see what happens if somebody takes it, or like you said, a trackable. It would be perfect. And now that, I guess, like you said, I haven't looked at the prices, but apparently an AirTag is cheap now.
You can get one. So I've got them on my dogs. Like I've got them built into their collar.
Very
I
cool.
can track my dog just like you'd track anybody else, on the, it works great.
Yeah.
They work perfect. It's a map just like you're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can get like, I don't know exactly, but maybe $15. Like if you buy a pack of 5, you get them for cheaper, stuff like that.
Sure.
But I think they're like, a lot of times you get promotion on about $15. I'm specifically talking about the Apple tags. That's what I've got.
Yeah.
Or
the
do I have
Apple tag.
tile?
Yeah.
I got some tiles too, I thought. Anyway, but they're perfect. They work perfect. The little air tags. It should work great for a trackable. Yeah, absolutely. I would actually.
So Brian,
I would send them an email, or I would talk to the person. I don't have any problem going and talking to somebody.
Hey,
that's stolen property at that point, right? I'm literally tracking it.
Apparently, yeah, I'm tracking the trackable is in your house. So
yeah,
what's the story?
Yeah. I think the interesting question though on these, and I know it was raised up in Reddit too on this one and a few other people, is they saw them. So they saw the air tags,
right?
And then they chose to do what they wanted to because of that. But what if you like 3D printed or hid an air tag in a trackable so people didn't know?
Yeah, you're saying so. What's better, to have it showing or not showing?
Yeah, correct. So people knew it was being tracked like that through like GPS.
Right.
So I think
it wasn't.
It's a decision to make, right? Like like hidden cameras versus those cameras, the surveillance cameras, right?
Yeah.
The ones you can see versus the one you won't see. Do the bad guys not do it because one's there, or do the bad guys, they sneak it away?
Or they do it
because
because
you catch more bad guys with it? Which side do you choose? Is it deterrence or not? I think either way is good. If you put an air tag on it, then honest people would know it's being tracked.
Sure.
Dishonest people would also know it's being tracked. Right. If you hide the air tag, you could track it, but it's not a deterrence to steal it. So I don't know which way you go with that. I don't know which one is the answer to that.
And you lose the trackable, and you lose your air tag. Of course, your air tags, you're never going to see the air tag again. So maybe more likely.
No, you're not. And I mean, ultimately, would you really track somebody down if it's in the middle of nowhere? Do you even know that that's where it went? Is it the last is that going to be tied to the last cacher? What's going on with it? What are you going to do? Follow up with it. Now, would it also be cool to be able to see it tracked real time around the world? I think so.
Kind of cool.
Cool. Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool. Do you have a responsibility to tell people that there's a tracker in there?
Sure.
Because there's an issue there, right? Like if you're tracking somebody that doesn't know they're being tracked,
right?
That could be probably illegal in some places, right?
Well, Owen says it's illegal to do that or illegal for that. But I'm not tracking the person. I'm tracking my property.
Yeah. So you're tracking them with your property, right? So if a thief stole it, it'd be fine. But if an honest person as part of the game is doing it, is that even legal?
Right.
Because again, you're tracking your property, not the person. Oh, yeah. So there you go. If I saw an AirTag on TV, I wouldn't pick it up. If I had it in my car, I wouldn't want someone to know where I am. Yeah, so there's that, right? Like it could definitely be used poorly, right? You could set somebody up to take it.
Yeah.
And track them, and that would be kind of.
I could kind of see using one of those in your geocache, because that's.
Yeah, but it should stay where it like you.
That's private property.
Container, probably.
I mean. Yeah, if it gets stolen, you're not supposed to. That's theft.
Yeah, it costs more than an ammo can. So.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know. The invasion of privacy thing. I think it would be an issue.
I would definitely, if they get cheap enough, I might. Around here, they're always people are swiping stuff all the time. I almost think I'd want to put an AirTag hidden, and then I could at least find out where they dumped my ammo can. They dump it in a garbage, into a. But anyway, that's for another show.
Could you imagine if you found out, Gary, and you went there and there was like 1,000 ammo cans in there, like a mountain?
Oh my God, there's a mountain of them. Now we know where they went.
That's right. Like all the missing left socks, all the missing travel bugs, all the missing ammo cans.
I'd like to hear. There's several comments on this in here, but I'd like to have people email in their thoughts on the trackable. So an AirTag on an item. Do you feel like it'd be invasion of privacy? Do you think it'd be neat to be able to see where it goes? What's your thoughts on that? Because we're talking about it may even be illegal. So, what are your thoughts on it? Would it be legal? Would it be illegal? Because we're talking about all over the world too, right? And potentially tracking a person that you could assign because they already signed it out as their name. Now you're tracking that person.
True.
What are your thoughts on it? Would it be cool? Would it be illegal? Is it a terrible idea? Is it a good idea? I'd love to see people's opinions on that. And, like, because we can talk about this forever, but like, what if one of the trackables you already have is trackable and you've been carrying around in your car and now somebody can follow you all the time? Yeah. There's some weird stuff involved with this.
It is.
Seems like a neat idea, but I'd like to hear what people's thoughts are because there's a lot of thoughts in here. Send them in and we can talk about this topic again soon.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. geocachetalk@gmail.com. Yep. Very cool. All right. Good discussion. Again, don't forget, it'll be out in the, don't forget about the Challenge Academy challenge. Don't forget about signing up for volunteers for, Cache Fest Oklahoma. There's a separate, sign up for Infernal Device. So make sure if you're going to do Infernal Device, there's a separate sign up link I'm gonna log or set up for you, separate from the general Cache Fest Oklahoma. When you go in and look in Sign Up Genius, when you pull it up, and again, it's going to be on the cache page and it'll be on the web page. Tonight it'll be on the web page. Eventually tonight it'll be on the cache page. And then Derek will put it on the webpage when he gets opportunities. So just to give you an idea of possibles, door greeter, you could work with Signal, find out if he's stealing travel bugs, be a handler for Signal. If you ever want to be Signal, we've got that available. Help with setups, help with the silent auction that we're doing. You could work in the VIP lounge, hobnob with the VIPs. There's always help with the Gadget Academy, the store. You get the idea. There's lots of different possibilities. So they will be out there, and you can sign up. So, all righty. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you all soon. Thanks, and have a good night. Have a good week. We'll see you next Sunday.
Okay.
Good night, everybody. I can push the button. Here we go.
May your finds be many, and your DNFs be few. May the terrain and difficulty both be less than 2. And whatever it is you're looking for, may it find its way to you. And may we all meet again.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.